Remember the excitement of getting your first loan approved. That weird mix of freedom and fear. It's like suddenly the world opens up. You can finally buy what you want, fix something important, or just feel a little more in control. But here's the twist, most people end up regretting that very moment. Not because loans are bad, but because no one tells you what really comes next. So why does that first loan turn into a mistake for so many? Let's break it down, and make sure you don't fall for the same trap. Here's the thing about personal loans, they tap straight into our brain's craving for instant gratification. The moment that money hits your account, it feels like a win. Your brain lights up with dopamine, the same chemical that rewards you for eating your favorite food or getting likes on a post. Suddenly, you feel in control, capable, even wealthy. But here's the trick, that feeling isn't real. You didn't earn that money, you borrowed it. And while your brain is celebrating, your future is quietly getting weighed down. You feel rich, but it's fake rich. And that's dangerous. Because when we feel like we have money, we start spending like we do. Bigger purchases, unnecessary upgrades, and impulse decisions sneak in. That's not a money problem, it's a psychology problem. And most people don't even realize they're falling into the trap, until it's too late. Here's where it gets even trickier, the illusion of control. When people take out their first loan, they almost always say the same thing, I'll pay it back fast. It feels doable, manageable, maybe even smart. But that confidence, it's not based on reality. It's based on what we want to believe. We tell ourselves we'll skip dinners out, cut back on spending, maybe even pick up extra work. But life doesn't always stick to the script. Emergencies pop up, bills surprise us, motivation fades, and suddenly, that easy monthly payment starts to feel like a chain around your ankle. The truth is, we overestimate our discipline and underestimate how unpredictable life really is. We think we're in control, but we're not prepared for the stuff we can't see coming. And that's when regret starts creeping in. Not just because of the money, but because we feel like we should have known better. That emotional trap, feeling stuck, ashamed, or even a little panicked, is something almost no one talks about. But almost everyone feels it. Let me tell you a story that might sound a little too familiar. There's this guy, let's call him Adil. Fresh out of university, landed his first decent job, and wanted to upgrade his lifestyle just a bit. Nothing crazy. He took out a small personal loan, just enough to buy a new phone, some furniture, and treat himself for working so hard. He figured, it's only a few payments, I'll pay it off in no time. But then the real world showed up. 2 months in, his car broke down. He had to use his credit card for repairs. Then came a friend's wedding, and he didn't want to show up empty-handed or in old clothes, so he borrowed a little more. Before he knew it, those easy payments started stacking. Interest kicked in, late fees followed, and that original loan. It felt like it was growing faster than he could keep up. What started as a simple boost turned into a quiet storm of stress. And all because of FOMO. He didn't want to feel left out, behind, or like he wasn't living the life. But that desire to keep up cost him more than money. It cost him peace of mind. Regret doesn't show up with a loud warning. It builds quietly, one payment, one swipe, one excuse at a time, until suddenly you're asking, how did I get here? Here's the good news, you can avoid all of that. Because the truth is, loans aren't always bad. The wealthy take loans all the time. But they do it differently. They borrow with intention, not emotion. They use what I call the 3P rule: purpose, plan, payoff. First, purpose. Wealthy people never borrow just to feel better or keep up. They borrow for a reason that will either protect their lifestyle or grow their wealth. That might be investing in a business, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding something with a clear return. If your reason for borrowing doesn't serve a real purpose, hit pause. Second, plan. Before they borrow a single dollar, they already know exactly how and when they'll pay it back. Not, I'll figure it out later. No, there's a strategy. They run the numbers, factor in emergencies, and only move forward if it makes sense long-term. Third, payoff. They don't just rely on motivation, they create systems that make repayment automatic and manageable. They don't leave it to willpower. If the payoff isn't realistic, they don't touch the loan. So next time you think about taking out a personal loan, run it through the 3P rule. Purpose, plan, payoff. If it doesn't check all three boxes, it's not worth the regret. Simple as that. Imagine looking back a year from now. Would your future self thank you for taking this loan, or wish you'd watched this video twice? That's the moment that really matters. Not the excitement of approval. Not the first few days of spending. But the quiet reflection when the loan is still there, and you're wondering if it was worth it. You don't need to learn the hard way. You just need to borrow with your brain, not your emotions. Don't make the same mistake. Learn smarter money moves right here, subscribe, and let's make your money work for you, not against you.